Hello everyone, I welcome again for the next discussion. It is a High Court. Same as that in the center there is a Supreme Court, in the state there is a High Court. So let us see what is the High Court, what are their powers and all, and their organization. These are the certain contents that we are going to cover during our discussion. First, introduction, then organization, independence of High Court, jurisdiction and powers of High Court. Introduction. In India, a single integrated judicial system, the High Court operates below the Supreme Court, but above the subordinate court. So it is very clear that at the top the Supreme Court is there, at the center below it the High Court operates. The judiciary in a state consists of a High Court and a hierarchy of subordinate courts. The High Court occupies the top position in the judicial administration of the state. The institution of High Court originated in India in 1862, when the High Courts were set up at the Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. In 1866, the fourth High Court was established in Allahabad. In the course of time, each province in the British India came to have its own High Court. After 1950, the High Court existing in provinces became the High Court for the corresponding state. The Constitution of India provides for a High Court for each state, but the 7th Amendment Act 1956 authorized the Parliament to establish the common High Court for two or more state and union territory. The territorial jurisdiction of the High Court is coterminous with the territory of state. Similarly, the territorial jurisdiction of the common High Court is coterminous with the territory of concerned state and union territories. Then organization of the High Court. As per 2019, there are 25 courts in the country. Out of them, only 3 High Courts have jurisdiction over more than one state. Amongst the 9 union territories, Delhi alone has a separate High Court. Union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh have a common High Court. The other union territories fall under the jurisdiction of different state High Courts. The Parliament can extend the jurisdiction of High Court to any union territory or exclude the jurisdiction of the High Court from any union territory. The name, year of establishment, territorial jurisdiction and seats of all the High Courts are given in the Article 124 and 233. According to it, in Part V for Constitution deals with the organization, independence, jurisdiction, powers, procedure and so on of the High Court. If you see the organizational jurisdiction system in India, Supreme Court is at a top level, whereas the High Courts at the below it, and below the High Court, the subordinate courts like Civil Court, Criminal Court and other courts are falling and operates. Independence of High Court. The independence of High Court is very essential for the effective discharge of the duties assigned to it. It should be free from the encroachment, pressure and interference of the executive and the legislature. It should be allowed to do the justice without fear or favor. The Constitution has made the following provisions to the safeguard and ensure the independent and impartial functioning of the High Court. First is a mode of appointment. The judges of High Court are appointed by the President in consultation with the member of judiciary itself. This provision curtails the absolute discretion of the executive as well as ensure that the judicial appointments are not based on any political or practical consideration. Then the security of tenure. The judges of High Court are provided with the security of tenure. They can be removed from the office by the President only in the manner and on the ground mentioned in the Constitution. This means that they do not hold their office during the pleasure of President, though they are appointed by him. This is obvious from the fact that no judges of High Court has been removed so far. Then the fixed service condition. The salaries, allowances, privileges, leaves, and pension of the judges of High Court are determined from time to time by the Parliament, but they cannot be changed to their disadvantage after their appointment except during a financial emergency. Thus, the condition of service of the judges of High Court remains same during their term of office. Then the expenses charged on consolidated fund. The salaries and allowances of the judges and salaries, allowances and pensions of the staff as well as administrative expenses of the High Court are charged on the consolidated fund of the state. Thus, they are not votable by the state legislature. It should be noted that the pensions of the High Court judge is charged on the consolidated fund of India and not the state. Then the conduct of judges cannot be discussed. The Constitution prohibits any discussion in the Parliament or in the state legislature with respect to the conduct of judges of High Court in the discharge of their duties, except when the impeachment motion is under consideration of the Parliament. Then the ban on practice after retirement. The retired permanent judges of the High Court are prohibited from pleading or acting in any court or before any authority in India except the Supreme Court and other High Court. This ensures that they do not favor anyone in the hope of future favor. Then the seventh is about the power to punish for its contempt. The High Court can punish any person for his contempt. Thus, its action and decision cannot be criticized and opposed by anybody. This power is vested in High Court to maintain its authority, dignity, and honor. Then freedom to appoint its staff. The Chief Justice of High Court can appoint officers and servants of the High Court without any interference from the executive. He can also prescribe their condition of the service. Then its jurisdiction cannot be curtailed. The jurisdiction of the and powers of High Court in so far they are specified in the Constitution cannot be curtailed both by the Parliament and the state legislature. But in other respects, the jurisdiction and powers of High Court can be changed both by Parliament and the state legislature. Then the separation from the executive. The Constitution directs the state to keep step to separate the judiciary from the executive in public services. This means that the executive authority should not possess the judicial power. Consequent upon its implementation, the role of executive authority in judicial administration come to an end. Then the jurisdiction and powers of High Court. Like the Supreme Court, the High Court has been vested with the quite extensive and effective powers. It is the highest court of appeal in the state. It is a protector of fundamental rights of the citizens and it is vested with the power of interpret the Constitution. Besides, he has supervisory and consultative roles. However, the Constitution does not contain a detailed provision with regard to the jurisdiction and powers of High Court. It only lays down that the jurisdiction and powers of High Court are to be the same as immediately before the commencement of Constitution. The Constitution also confers by the other provisions some more additional powers on High Court like right jurisdiction, power of superintendence, consultative powers, etc. Moreover, it empowers the Parliament and the state legislature to change the jurisdiction and power of High Court. At present, the High Court enjoys the following jurisdictions and powers: original jurisdiction, right jurisdiction, appellate jurisdiction, supervisory jurisdiction, control over subordinate courts, a court of record, powers of judicial review, and all. The detailed description is beyond our scope. The present jurisdiction of powers of High Court are governed by the constitutional provisions, the letter patent, the Act of Parliament, the Act of State Legislature, Indian Penal Code 1860, Criminal Code, Procedure Code 1973 and the Civil Procedure Code 1908. So in this particular video we discussed about the High Courts, its organization, different powers that the High Court is having. I hope all of you have understood the different parameters and the aspects of the High Court. Thank you for watching.